Shalom party people, and welcome to the 12th C. Human factors, lack of assertiveness. We've touched on this one just a little bit in some of the other of the dirty dozen. But when it boils down to lack of assertiveness, most often, not always, most often, it is either someone who is not speaking up or somebody who is not doing something. Those are your two back and forths when it comes to lack of assertiveness. Refusal to speak up, refusal to do something about it. So, if you're not speaking up, there's usually one of a couple reasons why you're not speaking up. Either it is a hard not speaking up because somebody is very vocal and you are keeping your head down and you're not speaking up in response. That person may be very assertive themselves. They may be outright aggressive. And it's a silence that is created because of others' actions. Well, it may be a soft refusing to speak up. Maybe the person who isn't speaking up, maybe you are more go with the flow. And it's, hey, we're all going this way, so we're just gonna go that way, and you're just part of the group. Part of the ship, part of the crew, whatever. Those are two very different problems in not speaking up. When that happens, if you're in the situation that somebody is very vocal, you're gonna have a couple of things to deal with. Number one, you need to be calm when you assert yourself. I know that's a little difficult, but chaos is contagious. If you are raising your voice and yelling at somebody else, hey, I'm trying to get a word in here, that's usually not going to end very well. You need to, hey, you are talking over me and that is not okay. That's fine. You need to, hey, your opinions are valid, but the way you are presenting your opinions, you are railroading other people, and that is not okay. Calm, collected, have precise input on what the other person is bringing to the table, and focus on their actions, not them as a person. Not, hey, you're a bad person because you do this. It's, hey, what you are doing is not okay. What you are doing is not acceptable. What you are doing is causing other people to just sit down and shut up, and it's going over their opinions. And maybe someone's going to bring up something that you never thought of. Maybe somebody is going to bring up something that's a safety issue. We need to be able to have other people voice their concerns, voice their opinions, unless it is an outright emergency and the person who is speaking up is trying to keep everybody safe by what they are saying. We can listen to what other people have to say. You need to project, hey, this is what I am seeing. Sometimes the person who is not asserting themselves has communicated something, but it has not been received by the people who it was intended to be received by. It's, hey, this, and this. All three things have been communicated, but everybody only heard the first one. Everyone only paid attention to the first one. The first one was probably really important, but number 2 and number 3 are important too. I had a situation at work where I brought up a safety issue, and I brought up another safety issue right behind it. Everybody only heard the first one. Both were safety issues. That first one was really important. That second one was important too, but everyone only heard the first one because they heard the first one and was like, oh yeah, we need to get this fixed. It's like, guys, there's another one. And if I hadn't, hey, here's this second one that we have to focus on too, write them both down, make sure we address them both. If that wasn't done, then what we were working on would have been in an unsafe condition and people could have died. So it really does boil down to, you have got to assert yourself. You have got to make sure that all of your message is heard. And there is a huge difference between asserting yourself and being aggressive. If you are attacking people, that's not assertive, that's aggressive. If you are belittling people, that's not assertive, that's aggressive. But if you are speaking up so that way your opinions are not railroaded, your opinions may suck, I'm just saying. But if you're speaking up so that way your opinions, your input, your concerns are not just blown over, then people are going to walk all over you. And when it boils down to a safety concern, that could be life and death. So, don't take that lightly. If you are just a go with the flow situation, then what's going to happen is, because you're a go with the flow, you're not watching and seeing stuff that's going on, or if you are, you're shrugging it off. Even if it's not that big of a deal, it's probably valid. Let's go ahead and bring this point up. And if they're like, hey, that's not a big deal, but thank you for bringing it up, we know you're paying attention, that goes over way, way better. All the time, we're dealing with people who don't speak up. But there are times where we have people who refuse to act. And that is very, very important. If you are not doing something, just speaking up may not be enough. A lot of leadership comes down to the person who is in that leadership role. And that doesn't mean that they're the boss. It just means that that person is leading. If that person who is leading is not willing to go and do, then others are going to be like, okay, well, their words and their actions don't line up. They're a hypocrite. I don't want to do what they're telling me to do, because they won't do it themselves. Your words and your actions are very, very, very important. And just because you're willing to speak up about something, you also need to be willing to do something about it too. On that note, let me know down in the comments where you guys are at on lack of assertiveness. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. Maybe a situation where you did assert yourself. You used your backbone, used your vocal cords, breathed from that diaphragm and said what you needed to say. Or if you humbly want to submit a time that you should have done that and it blew up in your face because you didn't do it, I'd love to hear about it down in the comments. Go do hard things.